Hi, welcome back to Dream Consciousness Circuit. We are going to plug into a truer reality. In this episode, Dr. Barber uses symbols to start the interpretation process. You can learn how to do this in your own dreams. You will be able to gain dream insights into all aspects of your life, health, wealth, love, and especially awareness. Let's get started with episode 2.
I don't know if we should jump in there with the dream interpretation thing right away or not. Let's just deal with the simple. Let's keep it simple first. So the symbols in the dream, we pull those out, and so those are the man and the woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know either one of them.
I don't know either one of them.
Okay, so they're both aspects of you, and
Mm-hmm.
if you probably a lot of people have thought of the inner and outer self. Jung called it the anima animus. And so the inner outer self represents the subconscious mind and conscious mind, which are meant to work together. So the opposite sex or gender is always indicative of subconscious mind. Same sex is the conscious mind. So you have both parts of mind represented. That's what I see in that. So that's part of what makes it a more balanced dream, because you don't have just all females or males or whatever. And so you have, I don't think you said they were married, did you? You don't
Yeah,
know.
they're
They are
married.
married.
That
Okay.
was yeah, that was
Okay.
his wife that came out. I knew that was his wife that came out.
Okay. So
Hmm.
um, with the people in the dream, which would be the aspects of you, in other words, the intelligent parts of you, there's a commitment because they're married. So this is a
Hmm.
part of your conscious and subconscious mind that is working together for a common purpose. And did they did they like own a business? You were trying to sell the dream interpretation, but could you
No,
tell what the commonality was?
there it was just the neighborhood, and I was walking through the neighborhood trying to sell my dream interpretation, and Dad just came to this corner house, and that man just walked out to greet me. Said, "I got to lose this weight," and
Okay. Okay. So that's important with because it's a neighborhood and an unfamiliar one,
hmm,
right? That's what you said. So
yeah.
yeah. So what do you make of
Mhm.
that? How do you see that?
Well, it's a little bit of an unknown, because the neighborhood would be, is it like a city? I mean, is it like where there's a lot of uh, connections, a lot of interconnections with people? They all live together in the same neighborhood. They uh, all the houses are about the same. It's a mindset that I had, but it was an older neighborhood, kind of like the one that I grew up in. And so it was a maybe even a way of thinking that was a little bit from my past, a little bit older, since it was this kind of neighborhood. And I did, right when I woke up, I did think that was a lot like the neighborhood I grew up in. And I don't know, it could have been. But that's my thought.
Yeah. So that really sheds a lot of light on what the dream is trying to tell you, because it is, I see the neighborhood as extended family. Neighborhoods are people that we see just about every day. I know that
Mhm.
varies now, but its idea is that you live around other people who have similar interests, who obviously have a similar economic um,
Mhm.
background. And so that kind of leads to a certain work ethic or things like that. Um, and they're very close. A lot of times children play together, things of that nature. And so it is like an extended family kind of thinking. And in terms of it being subconscious and conscious mind that have a commitment, the commitment would have to do with something that was very much a part of you earlier in your life, and yet you don't really know what that is. So I would see that as beginning to identify the cause of something. So, when in terms of mind, when we're not familiar with something, we've been unconscious about it, and you don't know them, so that's also unconscious. So there's something you're
Mhm.
becoming aware of in this dream that's very important to a commitment to yourself that you've made, that you also don't know what that is. And it all, but the context you do know, what you do know, which is your beginning point of reasoning, is it's kind of like I look at dreams as Nancy Drew sometimes, where they're kind of a mystery to solve, right? And so, and that kind of dates me, I know, of Nancy Drew, but any person that's doing investigative work, put it in there. Um, the thing that it's this real feeling of familiarity with something that came from earlier in your life. So the fact that that's there is the part that I say it has to do with looking for a cause inside you for something that's happening in your life. And the dreams, of course, are relevant to 24 hours, usually maybe 48, um, to something that have happened in your life recently, very recently. So it's feedback. It's feedback system. It's feedback system, right? So the fact that you're placed there and that you end up actually interacting with this couple says that you are ready to take action upon becoming more conscious of those parts of yourself, what that commitment was, and where it came from in your past. And
Beyond the interpretation of each dream is what Dr. Barber calls the perception. This is where the gap between night dreaming and daydreaming closes. Now, in our next video, Dr. Barbara Condron closes the gap, connecting the dots between the night dreams and the daydreams. Stay tuned to find out how in episode 3.